Hello, welcome back. I'm Statman Dave, and today we're going to be discussing why Bruno Fernandes will get United into the Champions League this season. This video is brought to you with Coral. Anyway, let's get this party started. The much anticipated arrival of Bruno Fernandes has sparked United into life as they go in search of Champions League football for the next season after a stop-start campaign hindered by the long-term injuries to key players such as Paul Pogba, Scott McTominay and Marcus Rashford. Add that to the departure of some first-team players in the summer, Ander Herrera to PSG, Romelu Lukaku permanently and Alexis Sanchez temporarily to Inter Milan without being directly replaced. With all that considered, it's remarkable that Gunnar Solskjaer has the side in contention at all. But the January signing of Bruno Fernandes should give serious hope to Manchester United fans. The former Sporting man in just a handful of games has shown himself to be a fantastic footballer. In all of his starts so far, Fernandes has directly contributed to 5 goal attempts, even against Wolves, where he's deployed in defensive midfield. And in the 15 minutes against Club Brugge, United took as many shots with Fernandes on the pitch as they managed in the remaining 82 prior to that. But what does this actually mean for Manchester United? Bruno makes United tick, demanding the ball all over the pitch to dictate the tempo. He's not too slow or too safe in possession either, with the midfielder completing more forward passes than backwards or sideways passes combined against Wolves. Through his pass and move style, Bruno is able to progress the ball through 1-2s with teammates, which only encourages other United players to do the same, making United more unpredictable in possession. On top of his short passing combinations, Fernandes has the ability to play every type of pass, from short 5-yard passes we mentioned, to mid-range, floated and drilled long-range passes, but also the use of the outside of the boot for balls into the channels. His guile is something that United haven't had in the final third this season, and he's already shown that he can conjure up chances out of absolutely nothing for the other forwards. Whilst we're on the final third, we have to talk about set pieces. As we highlighted in our previous video on Bruno Fernandes, we did say in-swinging corners to the back post would get Harry Maguire his first Premier League goal, and of course that combination can only continue. Of Bruno Fernandes' 7 successful set-piece deliveries in the Premier League this season, 4 have been met by Maguire at the back post. Against Chelsea, they were at their deadliest. One was a free kick from the right-hand side that Maguire nodded back across dangerously, but was defended well, and the other was the in-swinging corner that Maguire headed home. We've seen this season that United have been aiming for Maguire from set pieces, and whilst Maguire, by his own admission, has missed some pretty big chances, the delivery hasn't always been consistent. But with Fernandes able to deliver a ball onto a sixpence, Maguire, as his target, who of course has won 71% of zero duels in the Premier League this season, could become a reliable goal threat. But what's more impressive about Bruno's start to life in Manchester has been how much he's already become a leader of the midfield. His impact on the midfield has been similar to Harry Maguire's impact on the defence when he arrived, leading by example and by attitude. In the 3-0 win against Watford, there were a number of times when Fernandes was directing and instructing his teammates to move into space before picking up the ball and passing it to them. A great example of this was on 14 minutes, United with a free kick. Fernandes restarts the play, passing it out wide for Shaw, before turning as he points to Aaron Wan-Bissaka to move high and wide on the right where the space has opened up. Shaw carried into Watford's half and played it to Fernandes, where he took one touch and switched the play out to Wan-Bissaka, who had a 1v1 with the left back. Wan-Bissaka got to the byline, put in a good cross, but Foster was well received and got the ball. But without Bruno's direction, that pass wouldn't have been on. What's most impressive about the game against Watford, though, was his intelligence. Watford's defensive midfielders, Hughes and Capoue, screened the back four well, and there wasn't space centrally for Fernandes to pick up the ball. As this became more apparent, Fernandes decided to drift a little bit wider to pick up possession where he could influence the game more, and this is reflected in the stats. In the first 30 minutes of the game, Fernandes had 26 touches, with only Martial, Greenwood and Wan-Bissaka having fewer. However, from the 31st minute onwards, when he moved into those wider positions, Fernandes had 59 touches, with only Maguire having more touches of the ball. Shockingly, all of United's 3 goals came after Fernandes saw more of the ball, with Fernandes having a hand in all 3 goals, but it was the first and third where his wide positioning was devastating. The penalty he won for the first goal came from his wide left positioning. When Fred picks up the ball, Bruno is high and wide on the left, stretching the play on the blind side of the right back. As Fred passes to James, breaking the lines, Fernandes curves his run, keeping himself onside from the left centre-back so James can slip him through, and then he's taken out by the goalkeeper. Superb movement on the counter-attack, hanging in that position, bending his run, looping around and getting him behind and causing that problem. In terms of the third goal, that came from him actually drifting wide right. De La Feo played the loose pass, which Greenwood picked up, and then Fernandes starts to move wide. Greenwood commits Capoue and drives into the Watford half to create that 3v3. Bruno is then free out wide. Greenwood finds him with a pass, who draws in Cathcart before passing to Greenwood in space and applies one hell of a finish. Again, really intelligent movement to create the space, not only for himself, but then creating the space, pulling the defender wide, opening up that central channel for Mason Greenwood. But his most creative influence was for the second goal, which he didn't get an assist for. After recovering possession in his own half, Maguire played the ball to Shaw, who played a 1-2 with James, giving it to Fernandes on halfway. As soon as Bruno drived into space, Martial looks to make a fantastic curve run behind Cabaselli. He picks him out with a pass perfectly, but Martial's dink is saved. The Frenchman does recover possession, fantastic little feet and a lovely finish over Foster's shoulder. But without Fernandes' initial through ball, Martial does not get that opportunity. I wonder as well whether the forwards are becoming more aware of Fernandes' vision and ability, that they might be making more of those dangerous runs in behind like Martial's. What's more is in this game, Bruno was second in both in terms of the sprint charts and distance covered for Manchester United. His tireless work rate and attitude will rub off on his teammates. An indirect positive from Bruno's arrival has come in the form of Fred. The midfielder is having a fantastic season for Manchester United, resembling the player that played for Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League. Earlier on in the season, without a reliable creator at number 10, the creative responsibilities was thrust onto the double pivot, with ever-present Fred making a lot of the play. As much as his creative numbers have doubled when compared to last season, he's not much of a playmaker, more in the mould of an energetic N'Golo Kante, a ball winner that thrives in chaotic midfield battles, but has the composure to keep possession. Now with Fernandes in the team, the play goes through him as he operates as the side's primary playmaker, which allows Fred, when he's in possession, doesn't have to find that killer pass. Instead, he can look for Fernandes, who could do that from better positions in between the lines, or if the pass to Bruno Fernandes is not on, Fred can keep the ball moving, and when it's lost, he excels at winning it back. Before Bruno arrived at Old Trafford this season, Fred was averaging 5 tackles and 62 passes per game, but since Bruno Fernandes' arrival, the Brazilian is making 6.7 tackles and 69 passes per game. Bruno's ability as a one-man attacking unit, contributing on average to 5.7 shots per game to United's attack, is allowing other players to focus on their own game, winning their individual battles and granting United dominance across the field. What's so exciting about Bruno Fernandes' influence is more than just impressive stats. He's a natural-born leader that's already looking to lead United's attack, despite being at the club for less than a month. Whilst his addition doesn't make United title challengers, it certainly makes 4th position a real possibility. But anyway guys, what do you think? Have you been impressed with Bruno Fernandes so far? And will United get into the Champions League next season? Let me know in the poll above and the comments below. I've been Statman Dave. Subscribe if you're new, like that goddamn video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not check out some more content on the Statman Dave YouTube channel?